You started this business because you wanted to have freedom. Freedom being anywhere you want, working as many hours you want, enjoy your life and have financial freedom. But what ended up happening is that now you're working 12, 14 hours a day. You are paying yourself salary that is way less that you are paying to your employees. You are missing family events. You have no personal life. And now, after working over 1,000 founders, I see the same mistakes over and over. And in this video, I'm going to show you what are the 5 signs that your business is not growing over 100K a month, how you can prevent that and start growing today. What I see most of the times that the founders, they book 3 to 5 appointments, very inconsistent lead flow, and they expect to close 100K plus a month. But if you want to achieve that goal, if you want to go above 100K plus, you always need to reverse engineer your goal. Meaning you need to know what is your average order value, how many leads you need to close, how many people you need to reach out, and then from there calculate what needs to be your daily action and keep doing that consistently. So what I see is most founders who are generating that revenue, they are focused on only that thing that is revenue generating activity and bringing more and more people to the conversations and closing them. These are the 2 things mainly focused. And they forget about the causes of inconsistent lead flow. So if you are not getting a lot of leads right now, it doesn't mean that you need to have more and more channels. It means probably the channels that you are using, you are not using them well. Meaning that if you have one channel and it's not performing, how many times did you test it? How many different angles did you look until it started working? Because any channel you pick, it's not gonna work in the beginning. It's very unlikely. What you need to do is always find which messaging, which angle, which perspective will work better. And then start doing it more and more to see and test. But instead, if you are doing exact same things over and over, it's very unlikely that the things will start surprisingly working. Something doesn't work means you need to change that. You need to try a different way. This is something that I remember in my first sales career, this happened. My manager said me like, you need to test always something new if something doesn't work. If you're trying to close somebody and you hear the objection, you handle it one way and it doesn't work, you need to change that perspective. The same with outreach. If you reach out to somebody, you write a message, and it doesn't work, you need to change that perspective. You need to change the approach and change it so many times and over the weeks without giving up until things start working. My clients said that they have issue of inconsistently closing the deals. So the deals are not getting closed and they don't understand why this happens. Because the sales calls was good, the connection was good, but people didn't buy. They said, let's just talk later. And the reason why this happens is not actually about the sales itself. It's not about the sales script itself, that what you are thinking about. It's actually because of the urgency. People didn't feel what is the cost of inaction so that I need to take the action right now. What is costing me not to solve this problem that I need to solve it right now, otherwise I'm losing the money. So if they don't feel that, they will never take the action. And what I see the founders, when they go to the sales call, they want to sell the solution, they don't actually explain what are the things they are losing by not having that solution. And the other reason is positioning itself, because they see you as another option in the market. And sometimes you think, oh, maybe it's because of the sales process itself, maybe because of my script, or maybe it's because of the sales guy. But the reality is sometimes it's because of the positioning which you never thought about. Because people don't perceive you as a person who they want to pay 20K, 30K, or 100K, they don't perceive you that way. They feel like I shouldn't pay so much to that person. Those questions arise. And that's why you have consistently those issues. And that is causing a lot of other issues as well. If your sales is not consistent, your sales team will be demotivated. They will go to another team. If your sales is inconsistent, you have a risk that your company will eventually die. So that's why instead of focusing on, let me get more leads, let me use more channels, you need to focus on how can you get those leads that are coming in to convert them as maximum as possible, and then thinking about the next step. The next thing I see very often, because teams, they have enough leads, but they always still struggle with closing. And this doesn't happen because the leads are bad itself, because the qualification was not done right. The leads were not warmed up enough. And that's so crucial, because if you don't have that system in place, that will cause next issues for you. The leads, every single lead that is coming, you can have literally multiple channels. But if you have so many leads and you didn't qualify the right ones, you will spend a lot of time on the wrong ones. It will end up in a situation where your sales team is jumping on every single call, wasting energy, and when it comes to talking to the right people, they don't have energy enough, they don't have the capacity anymore to handle every objection. And that is something that is invisible because it feels like you are getting the progress. It feels like you are getting the leads. It feels like you are doing something right now, but it is a lot of noise. And that's what I see over and over that is killing the growth. You can have literally 100, 200 leads every month, but if they are not qualified well, and if you are taking every single call, that will kill your momentum. I know just from experience, if I take the call with the lead who is disrespectful, who is not having money, who is wasting my time, the next call, the mood will not be the same, the momentum will not be the same. So you shouldn't let every single person come in and have a call with you. And you should be qualifying hard and getting the people, because at the end of the day, you made this business to have people who are right fit for you, that you can enjoy and you can have amazing time with them instead of taking everyone, right? And that is the issue. And if you have all these leads, imagine if you had enough time to spend with the right leads, to spend enough time to warm them up, to send them some materials, to do very personalized approach to them. How much more is likelihood that you will close them as well? It's very high. Now, you know that the numbers game is not always the best. The numbers game will help you for a while maybe, but in the long run, I just know it from my 14 years of sales experience, that in the long run, you need to keep the quality. I remember the times where I was just literally alone with one person together. We were closing multiple 5, 6-figure deals. And this is possible because we are used to think if you want to make 100K plus, you need to have a huge team. No, you don't have to. It's just maybe like 5 or 10 deals that you need to close and need to fulfill them. 5 or 10 good clients. And you consistently make that money. And that's what is the difference. That's where you focus on quality and you focus on the right things instead of doing everything that is wrong. The next thing is invisible because it's something that most people even don't realize that. And that's the identity. I'm talking about the founder identity because the founders that I'm working with and that I'm talking to, they are typically very technical. They think from the technical perspective. They think technology is very important and never invested into technology, never invested into sales or acquisition. So they are thinking the most important thing is product, let me make it perfect. But you can have literally the best product in the world, but if your acquisition system is not nailed, if you don't have marketing and sales, bringing the closed deals, all of that doesn't matter. You can have literally the best of the best. And you know that in the market, there are so many players that don't have the best product. They don't have the best solution, but still they are selling way more than you, even though you know you have better product. And to change that, you need to shift your perspective. You need to shift your identity from being technical founder to becoming a business owner, to becoming the business thinking person, which means every single time you need to think how you can monetize that, how you can bring the value to the market. Not just having the best product, but how can you actually make sure that people buy that? They know about it at least, right? They try and solve their problems. And that is something that is causing the entire issue. Because I know the founders who spent 1.5 years just by nailing the product instead of start selling. If you have minimum viable product, you can already solve certain problems. Start from there right away and don't wait for the perfect moment. And that's what I see. The founders, the technical founders, they have that technical identity that they feel sales, it doesn't feel good. If I have a good product, people come to me. But if people don't know about you, they will never come to you. And that is causing the all issues because you are stuck there below 100K a month because of that. Because you're always thinking that's what needs to be done. And instead of growing the company, instead of thinking how you can get the more cash and reinvest into the business, you're focused more into the only product side of things. So far, I worked with over 1,000 companies, and most of those who made below 100K a month, they had one crucial issue. The thing that was keeping them to grow more was not because of the leads mainly. It was not because of the sales itself. The founder, they loved the control of complete thing. Thinking that I will do everything better than anyone else. And that is something that will cap you all the time because you can't multiply from there. It means once you start getting more deals, instead of focusing on building your team, your systems, what founders typically do, they say, I will do everything myself because they are afraid of results being bad, or they are afraid that fulfillment will not be so great like they would do, which is a good thing, but it's not gonna help you to grow over 100K a month. Because once you come to that next level, you will need to have different rules. You will need to have different plan and different systems, which is not working on one person dependency. That means is that instead of focusing on doing the same things over and over again, you need to focusing on hiring and building the muscle of management, because it takes a long time. For you to become really good in management, for you to build really good team and see which talents are the best, it takes time. Sometimes it takes multiple years. For me, it took over 2 years to understand this. And instead of focusing on that, what founders typically do, they focus on other things, like for example, delivery, or for example, product, which is also great. But if you want to really grow, if you're in the stage where you have a product already that is delivering the results, you should start building your team, where you understand, you start learning the new skill, which is high leverage skill. I would say highest leverage skill that will replicate, that will help you multiply, either with the systems, with the agents, nowadays with the AI agents, that you train and you teach them how to do the work, understanding SOPs, processes, improving your processes, or for the humans, the same process, right? With the humans, it's a little bit more complicated because the humans, they have mood, they have bad days, they have the motivation, and to keep that always the ball running, you need to build the management. You need to build that muscle, and that takes enormous effort and time. And if you are trapped in that level where you are just doing low leverage activities instead of focusing on those high leverage activities, which eventually will help you to grow, that will be something that will keep you growing as well. So anything that you do right now, before you jump to the next step, before you think about, I just want to get more clients and just grow, you first need to really think where you want to be. You want to make 100K a month, 200K a month, or maybe even more above. What are the things required to get you there? What are the systems you need to build to get you there? And if you like this video, subscribe to my channel, not to miss the next one.